You're listening to the So Good It Doesn't Make Sense podcast, a podcast for women navigating divorce who want more. More clarity, more money, more peace, more power. I'm Megan Norris, divorce expert, coach, and the friend who's going to tell you the truth. Not just about what's happening right now, but about what's possible for you next. This podcast is about making decisions you trust, building a life you actually want, and becoming the version of you that no one saw coming. Whether you're in it, ending it, or already out, you're in the right place. You're about to become the CEO of your life and create one so good it doesn't make sense. Let's get started. Oh, hi. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you had a beautiful weekend if you're listening to this on Monday. I have had so much fun teasing out this. I am going to teach my masterclass from Nantucket. Oh my gosh. Actually, I'm going to plan a trip to Nantucket. And first, I'm going to binge read all of Elin Hilderbrand's books and become obsessed with the island of Nantucket before I take a solo trip there just for me. I have had so much fun and you all have been so supportive and it's delightful. And I can't wait to take you along for the ride of it all and to keep inspiring you and encouraging you to step outside your comfort zone. If you want to know more about the freak out and drama that taking a trip by myself brought up, you definitely need to subscribe to my private podcast where I go into all those juicy details and talk about my life and the drama I'm having and my own growth and expansion. And it's just like hearing your divorced best friend say, me too. Me too. And there's so much healing in the storytelling and the connection through storytelling that happens on that private podcast. I get messages about it all the time. There's so much binge-worthy content over there. I think we're headed into the 70th episode. I've been doing it for over a year. It's a really fun space to be. And it reads like a reality TV show. And I just could not be more encouraging of you to jump in over there. It's like $20 a month. Come on. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. You spend more on Starbucks and your nails every month. So it's worth it. Okay. You can always cancel it. Get it. And listen, I want to talk about private mentorship today because I have gotten a couple of DMs and people are a little shooketh when they get to my private mentorship landing page and application, and they see that I charge $100,000 for a 14-month mentorship and 30 for a 3-month mentorship and 50 for a 6-month mentorship. And they're like, wait, what? And it scrambles their brain, which is the point. I love that. So let's talk about it. I want you to understand where I'm coming from, but I also want you to, if it's for you, to hear the dog whistle, because you are, I know that she's listening, you're listening, and you're wondering, you're like, I get that something's there, but I don't understand what. So you are, whether or not you like the idea of paying that much money for a private mentorship, you are the one holding it all together on the outside, and you are privately, secretly in bed at night, in the shower, doing Lamaze breathing, feel like you're collapsing on the inside, and everyone thinks you're fine. They tell you you're doing a great job, that you're so impressive. Maybe even your therapist has said that to you. But you, deep down, know that you're not feeling okay, and you're scared that it's not sustainable. This episode is for you. And if high-level mentorship speaks to you and it's something that you want, I want you to quit thinking about it as a luxury and start thinking about it as a timeline shifter. Because this was me. Still me, by the way. I am successful. I have a very public facing job. I am strategic, and I often silently suffer because I, from a very young age, and certainly through my marriage, and then for sure during divorce, and then it really got anchored in afterwards, have this belief that not only is it easier if I do it alone, it's better, it's safer. And that creates a lot of suffering for me. And so I insist with myself, I insist that I always have a very high level mentor by my side who can help me remember to deload and to meet me where I'm at in that process so that I don't get stuck in my expansion, in my capacity, in my scaling of my own nervous system, which is really all any of this is. If you want more success, more impact, more fulfillment, more love, more peace, you have to scale your nervous system, just like you would scale a business. You have to expand your capacity. And when you're experiencing this very forward-facing, put together, maybe you're in corporate and you have a team, or maybe you have a family, and you're inside, you're just feeling like a stressed, chaotic mess all the time. You are in your own way, in a sacred way. It's no judgment, but you're always we are always our own obstacle, and it often presents this way for my clients specifically. So let's talk about who this private mentorship would really be for. And honestly, all of my material and coaching is for this person. It's not for women who feel helpless. My clients come to me, the members in my membership, even my free offers. If you're here, then this is you. You are hyper capable. You are hyper vigilant. You know what to do. You're not confused. You've done your research, or you just intuitively know, and yet you still feel like it's not going to be okay, or it's not enough. Typically, your life, you are very high functioning in your life. I would say across the board. Can I think of one? I can't think of one example. Across the board, my audience, my people are very high functioning and really suffering on the inside. And they usually you have some sort of forward-facing role, and it might be just not just, but you're coordinating co-parenting, finances, you're with your friends and your family, with your legal team, you're running a company, a department, a team, maybe you have an audience or a platform, and your kids, you're holding the emotional labor for a large number of people forward facing. But inside, that's so exhausting that you either feel numb or anxious. There's something underneath all of it that you're afraid to let come to the surface. You're getting really weary of being the strong one. I know, because this is me. I didn't hire my mentor for $100,000. I've paid her almost $2 now, I think. I don't work with her because I think I'm weak and broken. In fact, I was just on a call with her today, and I was crying on the call. And I said, I refuse to let this be one more thing I need to fix. I don't need to be fixed. And I was talking to part of myself, right? I don't work with her because I think I'm weak and because I think that I need to be fixed. I work with her because I'm ready to collapse a timeline and rebuild at a level that even the current version of me would be confused by. I want to expand from a place of wholeness and completeness. I don't need fixing. I need witnessing and I need authenticity. That's who this is for. I designed it for a previous version of me because I can speak to that experience so well and I know what it feels like to be scared, visceral, primal fear that you're not going to be able to sustain this until your kids are out of the house, until the contract's up, until you get a raise, until you get a break, whatever it is. Deep down, there's fear that you're not going to make it and you don't want to, and that's even scarier. So why is saying yes to private mentorship like this so expansive? And I want to talk about this from an energetics perspective because that's how I see it and why I charge what I charge. You saying yes to a private mentor that you really want to say yes to collapses time because it immediately shifts you into a new frequency, a new energy. In order to say yes to yourself at that level, you have to see yourself and take up a lot of space, both with your energy, with your desire, with your vision, but also with your money. So it's not just a new strategy, it's new energy. And always, there is a massive quantum leap that happens just when someone says yes and makes that first payment. That's honestly one of the biggest transformations that you're ever going to have. After that, do you know what we're doing? Like I talked about last week, we're recalibrating. We're catching your nervous system up and your brain up to this new frequency that you've just embodied. Now, the beautiful thing about being in mentorship with someone, this close relationship where you have access to me on a daily basis, is that I already know how to embody the timeline, the vision that you're calling in. And I can hold that for you, and you can borrow my energy until you practice and develop the skill of holding it for yourself. And so there's a very real sense of stopping the hard work, the working so hard, the doing all the things to get to your next level, which is just a 3D creation. We do it all the time, and everybody here is very good at it. And instead of working so hard, you start just acting. You stop working so hard towards your next level and you start just showing up as her. And when you embody it before it becomes your reality, guess what happens? You call in, you magnetize results and experiences to you without having to, quote, work for them, do hard work, do a lot of things. It's the difference between letting the train come to you and simply getting on versus deciding that you have to sprint towards the train to get on it, right? You're going to meet the train versus letting the train come to you. Saying yes to your desire to work with a private mentor at this level also anchors in that new identity, because you don't say yes at this level from survival mode. You make a conscious decision and it's uncomfortable in an expansive way, like we talked about last week. So your nervous system starts to get some experience calibrating to a higher standard. And this matters right now because divorce is it's a primer. It's prime real estate, prime adversity for this identity death, this divorcing of this identity, the survival-based person that got you here. We love her. And embodying the woman that has the life of her dreams, but not just circumstantially, not just from the outside looking in, but from the inside out. Because many of you have amazing, gorgeous, beautiful lives, yet you still ask for a divorce. Why? Because it didn't feel like it. We have to match the forward-facing persona with the internal experience and stop over-functioning externally at our own expense and sacrificing the experience of this dream life that we want to create. But then also, if we create it, we want to be able to enjoy it. That's been one of the hardest things for me. I've created phenomenal, extraordinary results, and letting myself enjoy them has been harder than the not having of them and the wanting, but not having yet, harder than the creation of them, harder than the longing. That has been one of my biggest challenges. And saying yes to private mentorship quantum leaps that work in an instant. Okay, so what changes when you say yes to that kind of investment? And maybe, listen, if we want to extrapolate, if we want to go broader, if we want to go bird's eye level here, maybe this isn't the investment you want to say yes to, but let's say there's something else that you feel really compelled to do or really called to doing, and you know it's right and you know it's what you want to do, but it's really uncomfortable. What changes when you say yes to that level of desire and make that kind of investment in yourself? One, you step into radical responsibility, radical self-trust. Now, please don't get confused. As I often say, it doesn't always feel good to be radically responsible for your life, to give yourself what you want. Radical responsibility for my life is a solid 50-50 experience. Some days it's the greatest, and some days it sucks. And that's just the truth. But you do step into radical self-responsibility when you make this decision and you say yes to you and you own what you want and take up that space and say, I will not back down. Number two, you shift from, oh God, how do I survive this season, to, okay, I'm not going to survive. What do I want to create from this? And maybe it feels like ashes. Maybe it feels like you have burned your life to the ground. Divorce certainly touches every single part of your life, every corner, every nook and cranny, the junk drawer, the underwear drawer, the sheets, the dishes, the china from your wedding. It touches all of it. The stuff stored in the attic, literally everything in your life gets touched when you get a divorce. And you have all of these pieces to work with. You're either going to survive or you're going to build a masterpiece. What do you want? And when you say yes to your desire to build a masterpiece and to do it through this kind of investment, it is so, what's the word? It lights you up. It will light you up and it will light a fire in you. And it's exciting, and it's a completely new paradigm, and it's completely ludicrous and ridiculous. And I love it for those reasons, right? Okay. Number three, you begin to live in a new energetic standard because you have somebody holding it with you. Just someone to remind you, oh, this isn't a problem. This isn't a problem, is priceless in helping you develop the skill set of embodying this new version of you quickly because you practice every day. With therapy, you go once a week, maybe, and you see that person once a week. Even in my membership, you can get on a weekly call with me, but you have my voice in your ear through all the other recordings. You can have that every day. And this kind of identity shift is a practice. It's like yoga. You have to keep practicing it to gain the skill set, but then also to maintain it. And this just collapses time by getting your attention and being like, hey, we're doing this. We are doing this. That is what it did for me. I have video footage of me paying. I paid her first $60,000, I think, for a year. And then I paid her $100,000 for the second year. And I have video footage of me paying the contract and signing it in my rental house that I moved into after I sold my marital home. And I watch that still, and it's so sacred to me to see that past version of me who had my back. She had my back. Me sitting in this chair right now, she hadn't met me, but she knew that I was coming. And she's like, I got you. I'm laying the foundation here. And it's such a precious, sacred part of my relationship with myself to have said yes to something like that. And then to have created the outcome that allows me to have the enjoyment of being right about myself. It's so good. I don't know that there's a better feeling, this priceless feeling of coming through such adversity and then getting to believe, holy shit, I was right. I was right about me. It's so good. Okay, why is right now the best time? Well, I already mentioned this, but divorce is a natural portal. It's not just paperwork. It's a portal. It's this door opening, this rupture in an old timeline where you get to choose a new one, but most people don't. Most people don't choose a new timeline. They stay on the one they're on, the one that they were on in their marriage. And they think that changing their circumstance of being married is going to change their life. And then it doesn't. And then they're confused. Well, it's because it doesn't matter if you're married or not. What matters is your identity work, who you're embodying, what you're working towards, what you believe is possible for you. If you don't say yes to shifting that and then do that work, you will repeat the past. It's wild. It may show up differently. It may be a different flavor, but you will keep getting the same lesson until you die or you wake up and decide to choose a different one. And so when everything is raw and broken down is the optimal moment to start coding new beliefs, new thoughts, new energy patterns, new nervous system patterns. And most women try to rebuild fast, like they want to get through the divorce fast and then they want to rebuild fast. And when you do that without incorporating this work, you rebuild from fear. I should do a podcast about this too, but Denise Richards was quoted. She's currently getting divorced. She's a celebrity. If you don't know who she is, she has a reality TV show. She was in several movies before she divorced Charlie Sheen in the early 2000s. Well, now she's remarried and she's getting divorced again. And she was recently quoted as saying, I will never get divorced again because the first time was so traumatizing. And the media just ate her alive. It was horrible and traumatizing. And you could tell from these quotes that she gave to, I think, People magazine, how much fear was gripping her. When you rebuild trying to avoid something, you walk right into it. You can't fight against it and get away from it. You can't run away from it and escape it. You have to rebuild from a new paradigm, a new identity, from vision, wholeness, and self-trust and empowerment. It will not be new if you let old thought patterns and beliefs run the show. And they will, because that's what humans do. Your brain loves familiar more than it loves what you want, what you want is new. So the decisions that you make right now will echo for years, but that's a good thing. It's not a scary thing. And it doesn't mean you got to be in a hurry or put a lot of pressure on yourself to get it right. You don't. You just have to be intentional. And you don't need to wait till you feel better, and you don't need to wait till it feels like you're ready or that you're comfortable. Acting now while the veil is thin between these timelines changes everything. I talk more about timeline shifting and these quantum leaps in the Satisfaction Guaranteed Masterclass. So if that's confusing to you, you can go there and hear all about it. That's available. I think the link is in my bio or on Instagram, or you can message me. So I will leave you with these few parting words. What feels like being broken down is actually breaking you open. And the beauty of working with a mentor who sees your future as clearly as you see your past, who sees your future as clearly as you see it and believes in you, it changes everything. I remember taking a walk and listening to my mentor on my AirPods and sobbing because she was the first person that said, I see you. I see this vision. I see what you want. I see the impact you want to have. I see how much you love your children and how much you care about them, and you can have what you want. And to hear somebody reflect that back to me for the first time was crushing in the best way. It was both simultaneously grief and thrilling. It was like, I can't believe I've never heard somebody say these words out loud before about me. And that's sad. And also, oh my God, the moment is finally here. I've been waiting and it's here. It changes everything. If it's an energetic match, if it's a desire match, if it's what you want, I want it to work with you. You can find the website for this, the application, on my Instagram profile. You can also just email me. Filling out the application is not a commitment to anything. We can have a consultation if you want. We can chat in Voxer about it if you want, and figure out if it is an energetic match, because what I want is to work with women who are clear that they want to work with me. I'm not interested in selling anybody on me. I want to sell you on what's true for you. And it may not be working with me. I've gotten hundreds of no's. And that's okay. I love that. So I don't do a traditional sales call, so to speak. But we can have a consultation if you want, and filling out the application is free, and it is not an obligation to commit to anything. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I encourage you to listen to those nudges, the intuition, the desire that says, yes, I want that. Yes, I want to bet on me. Yes, I want to give myself that experience, not because of what I think I'll get from it, but because of who I will become by giving it to myself. All right, I'll see you back here next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to the So Good It Doesn't Make Sense podcast. If today's episode resonated, please take a minute and leave a review. It helps women find this work and change their lives and divorces too. For more support, be sure you follow me on Instagram at Megan Norris Coaching. That's where I share real-time strategy, perspective, and what it actually looks like day to day. And when you're ready to go deeper, join the Divorce Academy, my monthly membership for women navigating divorce with clarity, power, and community. I'll see you next week. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for legal, financial, or mental health advice. Please consult with licensed professionals as needed.